Picture this. You're sitting at a dinner table, or maybe in the classroom, and there's that one kid. Every question, they have the answer. Every conversation, they jump in. And if someone says something that's slightly off, they're the first to correct it. Confident, certain, unshakable. And almost instantly, the label gets attached. That kid is a know-it-all. But here's the thing. What if that label is completely wrong? What if that behavior isn't about knowing everything at all? Because the truth is, there's no such thing as a know-it-all syndrome. It's not a diagnosis, it's not a condition, it's a behavior. And like all behavior, especially in kids, it's trying to tell us something. So let's slow it down for a second, because underneath all that confidence, there's usually something deeper going on. Sometimes it's insecurity. Confidence and insecurity can look the same from the outside. A child who insists they already know everything might actually be afraid of being wrong. Because to them, being wrong doesn't mean a mistake. It means embarrassment, it means feeling small. So instead of risking that, they double down. I already know that. Other times, it starts with something we say even without thinking. You're so smart. Sounds positive, right? But over time, a child can start to believe that being smart means always being right. And once that identity forms, they protect it. They avoid mistakes, they correct others, they speak with certainty even when they're unsure. Because if they're wrong, who are they? And then there are kids who just love learning. They are curious, they pick things up fast, they enjoy explaining what they know, but no one ever taught them how to share that knowledge. So instead of sounding curious, they sound corrective. Instead of joining conversations, they take them over. Not because they want to dominate, but because no one showed them any other way. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. A lot of this behavior is learned, not directly, but through what kids see every day. If they grow up around adults who interrupt, who correct constantly, who speak like they're always right, what do you think they learn? That's what intelligence looks like. That's how smart people act. And then there's something we don't talk about enough. We teach our kids to learn math, reading, facts, but we don't always teach them how to communicate, how to listen, how to wait, how to disagree without correcting. So you end up with a child who has knowledge, but not the social tools to share it. Now here's the part most people miss. Not all know-it-all kids are the same. Some are defensive, some are excited, some are trying to feel in control, and some are just ahead intellectually, but still catching up socially. So when we treat them all the same, we miss what they actually need. So what do? Do we shut it down? Tell them to stop talking? Humble them? Not exactly. Because that behavior, if guided the right way, can become something powerful. Confidence, leadership, curiosity. It starts with a small shift. Instead of saying, "You're so smart," we say, "I like the way you figured that out." Instead of reacting to mistakes, we normalize them. We say things like, "I might be wrong. Let's figure it out together." And just like that, being wrong becomes safe. We also start teaching what we assume they already know. How to listen, how to wait, how to ask instead of correct. Simple things like, let them finish. What do you think they meant? Because communication is a skill. And maybe, most importantly, we stop asking, how do we stop this behavior? And start asking, what is this child trying to express? Because underneath that know-it-all label isn't a difficult kid. It's a kid trying to feel confident, trying to feel valued, trying to understand where they fit. And with the right guidance, that same child, the one who knows everything today, can grow into someone who never stops learning. And that's the real goal. Not knowing everything, but staying open to learning anything. And that changes everything. So now the question becomes, what do we actually do with all this? Because understanding the behavior is one thing, but guiding a child through it, that's where it really matters. Let's start with this. If you're a parent watching your child struggle with this, whether at home, at school, or with other kids, you're not alone. And more importantly, this is not something that needs to be fixed, quote unquote. It's something that needs to be shaped, because that same child who interrupts today can learn to lead conversations tomorrow. That same child who insists they're right can learn how to think critically and stay open. But that shift doesn't happen automatically. It happens through guidance. Step 1, redefine what smart means at home. Most kids who come up as a know-it-all have attached their identity to being right. So the first step is changing the definition. At home, start highlighting things like effort, curiosity, problem solving, instead of, "You're so smart." Try, "I like the way you kept trying. That was a good question. I can see how you figured that out." It seems small, but over time it teaches the child something powerful, that learning matters more than being right. Step 2, make mistakes safe. Think about this for a second. If a child feels embarrassed every time they're wrong, why would they ever choose to be wrong? They won't. They'll defend, they'll argue, they'll pretend that they knew all along. So we flip the environment. We make mistakes normal. Even better, we can model it. For example, "I thought I knew that. I was wrong. Hey, let's figure it out together." When the child sees that being wrong doesn't lead to shame, they stop needing to protect themselves. Step 3, teach social skills directly. This is where a lot of parents assume too much. We expect kids to just know how to take turns in the conversation, listen fully, disagree respectfully, but those are learned skills. So we teach them clearly and calmly. Before a social situation, you might say, "Let's practice listening first, then talking." If you already know something, try asking a question. Afterwards, instead of criticizing, you reflect. What went well? What could we try different next time? You're not correcting the child, you're coaching them. Step 4, give them the right outlet. Some kids generally love explaining things, so instead of shutting that down, we redirect it. Give them moments where they can teach. Explaining something to you, helping a sibling, sharing what they learned at the right time. But with boundaries, timing, tone, respect. Because the goal is not to silence their voice, it's to refine it. Step 5, build awareness, not shame. If a child constantly hears, "Stop acting like you know it all," they don't learn what to do instead. They just feel labeled. So instead, we build awareness. You might say, "I notice you like to jump in quickly. Let's practice waiting a second. Let's see if we can ask before we tell." This keeps confidence intact while gently guiding their behavior. Step 6, work with the school, not against it. If this is showing up at school, communication matters. Not as a complaint, but as a partnership. Talk to the teachers about how your child participates, when the behavior shows up the most, what strategies are already working. Consistency between home and school make a huge difference. Step 7, be patient with the process. This kind of growth doesn't happen overnight because you're not just changing a behavior, you're reshaping how a child sees themselves, and that takes time. There will be moments when they interrupt again, correct someone again, slip back into old habits. That's part of it. What matters is the direction, not perfection. And through all of this, there's one thing to hold on to. This behavior, as frustrating as it could feel sometimes, is not a dead end. It's potential. A child who wants to speak can learn to communicate. A child who wants to be right can learn to think deeply. A child who wants to be heard can learn to listen. And with the right guidance, you're not raising a know-it-all. You're raising someone who knows how to learn, how to grow, and how to connect with others. And that is far more powerful.